Hey everyone, time for Geocache Talk. Whether at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and now Spotify. You can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our patrons, Demon Hunter 2, Aggie Jedi Master, Electric Water Boy. Well, what do you know? And Teus, Joshua the Geocaching Vlogger, Nick at Cashley, One Kind Word, Ravenclaw Tia, Shermanator 18, Butterfly Girl, Loon Trackers, the Aussie Geocacher, Sodak Zach, the Deadliest Cachers, Terrell 2, Neil Moore, Molly the Geocaching Dog, Team D&D. Hey, how about that? We got one of the D's tonight. Geocaching Adam, Peachy 1276, the No Code Geocachers, Curiosity Girl, Tick Magnet, Marsipanic, Bricker John, Fire Safe, FS Sabero, Geo Rick, Cache Addict Mel, Geocaching Janji, Geocaching Junkie, Sir Drumalot, Janice, Tricassius, Tom Frey, Rugels, the Bruce Zero, EGK PBR, Casamaya, Master Sergeant USMC, Little Gears, Albedo 0.39, in our new patrons, It's Only Barney, and Purple Turtles 3. Thank you, patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins, other geocaching swag during the year, as well as invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. We got a big show tonight. Let me start off by welcoming my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening. I was already playing in the chat room, so.
Good deal. Let's just jump right into show number 87 for February 25th as we welcome back to the show D of Team D&D.
Howdy.
Tom Brotherman of aka Electric Water Boy. And welcoming for the first time, and hopefully not the last, Brian Erickson, aka BEviking. Welcome to Geocache Talk.
Thanks.
It's good to have you guys on tonight. We're going to jump right into some news. There you go. Perfect. Right. So,
you're hired.
Yeah. Because we couldn't get Sydney to do it, and I was terrible at it, so we'll let you do that from now on, Tom. You have to join the show just long enough to do that, and then you can know. So the answer to last week's question. So I didn't ask a very good question, so I've learned. I've only done this for a couple of years. I've kind of not thought through some of my questions to trivia. So I asked it sounded good at the time, right, Jesse? Is how many caches?
It sounded like a legitimate question.
It did. How many geocaches are in the state of North Dakota? Not thinking through the fact that it's going to change. In fact, it changed that night because things archive, things publish. So a bunch of people sent in and we'll get you. We're going to announce the winner a little bit in a little while, but 2751 is what we went with. But if you sent in anything around 2749 or whatever, you got credit and you were entered into the contest because things changed, and I understand. We didn't really think through that one, but that's okay.
I think it changed as we were doing the after show.
Right.
Like an event got archived or something that changed the number. So
yeah, so it was, but we'll think through that one better next time. But thank you everybody who entered. And like I said, later on towards the end of the show, we'll give you the name of the winner. So I mentioned as a tease that Chris Williamson of Treasure, you guys remember Treasure from last year. We saw that at the Texas Challenge in Tyler last year. Hopefully everybody got to see it at the drive-in. So Chris told me that he had something he wanted to mention. So I teased the fact that he had something. People are saying like Treasure 2 or different things. I wish it was something that big. In our perspective, for him, it's huge. For us, maybe it doesn't really, we don't see it maybe
because it has implications.
It does. You're right. It does. Hopefully it will lead to a Treasure 2, but he has received a distribution deal for treasure, which is fantastic for him. He doesn't have to keep doing this anymore himself. It's with a very reputable distributor, Leomark Studios. Leomarkstudios.com is the website. I don't know if it's actually out there yet, but they're going to distribute treasure, provide it to the masses. Maybe that's why, if you happen to notice, I took treasure off of our website because, again, the distribution is no longer going directly through Chris. It's going through this company. So, hats off to Chris for working that out. Big thanks to working with us last year, getting some of the actors on the show. I think it was, we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and while it doesn't sound like it's interesting to anybody, it actually is, because that means a distributor finds enough value in a geocaching movie that they're willing to take a chance on it, of a really niche hobby. So that's good for geocaching. And just like virtuals, we're going to take credit for this one too.
Exactly.
We're going to take credit for all that happening. Forget all those actors and producers and people that made the movie. We did it all. So
right, of course.
It's because you have that poster behind you. That's
there you go. Yeah, that's right. We had Ansley Gordon on. Actually, we had her on kind of twice. We had her on once, and when we had Matt Mercurio on the show, I sent her a link, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll jump back on." So she jumped on the show for that night. So it was great.
And I've got a spy in the chat room apparently.
Okay.
My wife's supposed to be out while I'm doing this show, and she logged in from PF Chang's to make sure that I don't make plans like I did last year and all of a sudden go. I made plans last year while we were in the show to go to Texas.
I remember.
Yeah. That wasn't like staged. That actually happened. So she's spying on me from the chat room already.
Good news, Christy. You're coming to Texas again. Woo-hoo!
That's right. I have to consult with my CFO to see if it's possible.
Yeah. What was that, D?
I said there's lots of really cool places to eat and see.
There is.
See, there you go. Lots of good history there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Jazz. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Real quick, webpage. We did a bonus, or I did a bonus Easter egg. So if you go to past shows video section, you might find a little bonus out there. So go check out the website. And Jesse, what is the latest on the webcam watch?
Our webcam watch, currently we are at 113 enabled. So we're down one from 114. But one in Hawaii is currently disabled. And looking through the logs, it looks like, they went through the typical thing of people were taking, it was down or something, and people were taking it. But it looks like on this one, going back, that the owner has deleted all those old logs where people were just doing selfies and trying to claim it. So there's some not so nice notes on the page. So I don't know what the history or the health of that one will be. But we're currently down to 113 active ones.
Just from last
US?
week.
Do what?
Is that US or worldwide?
Just US. Yeah. Just US. So we're hoping we can keep that number above 100. We don't need to be below 100 in the US. That's too low for a cache type.
Oh gosh, yes, that would be bad.
So
inevitable if they don't bring it back. Eventually it'll die.
That'll be our campaign for next year.
Right.
If we really wanted to, which I don't think anybody really wants those back. They're just rare. They're not really.
They are rare.
But 113. So webcam watch down to 113 enabled right now, which is sad.
Yep. All right, let's get to the topic. We got a lot to talk about tonight with the Texas Challenge, the 16th annual. Think about that a minute. Think about how long geocaching's been around. And this is the 16th year of the Texas Challenge and Festival. It's going to be on March 10th, but in reality, it starts on March 8th, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. But it is in Denton, Texas, so about as north as you could probably, not the north you could probably go, but it's very north Texas for, you could be in Del Rio or somewhere, and it could be a drive. Maybe next year. We don't. We'll have to find. We'll ask them later about where it'll be next year. I'm sure we'll get.
Just saying in Texas doesn't really narrow it down.
No, it doesn't. That's why I want to mention it's in Denton. It's like
country.
is way up in the north part of the state, so it's available to the whole country. Well, they always are, but so
Just a short drive from DFW Airport.
that's
Very
very good,
perfect.
Brian. That's perfect.
And we talk about a lot of megas on this show, but this one's a little bit special because of the style of mega it is. It's a competition, which is awesome. Anytime you throw competition in there, yeah, it gets a little more interesting. And this is there's a few competitions out there now, but this is the first one, right?
Correct.
The oldest competition
started from us. Moga's competition started from us.
Yep. Moga, as we learned, somebody came down and was part of the process, and then I don't know how'd that all work, Dee? Did they say to you guys?
They came down and just wanted to participate and liked the idea of the competition, and then of course they took it up and put an individual spin on it as opposed to the regional spin that we had on it, and kind of made it their own. So then of course we kind of turned it around on them and went up there and stole the idea back from them and added the individual into our challenge this year.
That's funny. But you said regional challenge, so you've got it broken up again this year in different sections? Is that how you...
Yeah, basically you can decide what region you want to play in. We do have some folks that may live in one region, but most of their friends live in another region. So you're not specifically told you have to play for a certain region, but you select the region that you're going to be in. It's divided into 6 regions in Texas. And then we have an out-of-state team. And last year the out-of-state team took second. Yeah, Tom leads the out-of-state team, even though he's
I get them started.
But last year they took second. So
they did.
Yeah, and that can is up at geocaching headquarters.
And we have over 50 people registered from out of state. So it's a pretty significant team this year. So we're looking for them to be strong again.
Wow, very cool.
That's some smack talking if somebody comes into Texas and beats you, right? I don't know.
I know.
Well, there's that old Texas flag. Come and get it. I told my friends in Oklahoma, come and get it. Come take that gold ammo can.
That's good.
How is it stacked up over the years? So out of state got second last year?
Correct.
But the North won? Is that right?
How many? I'll let Brian tell you how many in a row we won.
North always wins. That's just the way it is.
We are on a strong streak, but we're hoping that we have strong competition this year and we have an even playing field, and we'll see what happens.
How many years in a row?
5, right?
Yeah, 5.
5 years.
Wow.
And they, I have several friends on the North team, but it is very funny when they get a little cocky sometimes, and they're like, they got because they all got the black shirts, they're the black shirt bunch, and
the Pirates,
and so they paint, at least Kid Wrangler does. She changes the shirt every year. I don't know if everybody does this, Brian, but
they do. The gold teeth. Yeah.
Yes.
They have gold
You're giving up the inner secrets there, Gary.
I'm sorry, but I like that's a cool idea though. That if you win, you change the shirt up a little bit. I like that's cool.
That is cool though. But you don't people can come to the mega even if they're not registering or even if they're not competing, right?
Yeah, it's an entire weekend of events and non-registered events and activities, really to cater to everyone in geocaching. And that's what Dee and I really focused on this year. Is the competition is great and it's always the centerpiece of the event, but we want this to be as inclusive as possible and have everyone, regardless of age, regardless of any characteristic, come and have fun and have a great geocaching experience. So we've tried to create as many things to do for people that meet every criteria you can imagine.
Yeah, it's when Gary and I were down there, we got to watch but not compete, and I can't imagine choosing not to compete. It was crazy. I was chomping at the bit to run out there with y'all, and it looked like everybody was having fun from you're building up the anticipation, and everybody was dying to get it started for that opening bell. It was funny.
Go ahead.
It's a fun thing, you know. The first time I participated in it, and it was in North Texas 6 years ago, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to do it. And then you got up there, and I'm such a competitive person. It was like, oh, I got to have more of this.
Oh, yeah.
Got to do more of this.
Well, and so much of geocaching normally is not competitive. It's everybody at their own pace. Do what you want to do, you know, what style you want or when you want. So for once, you get to go out and compete, and that's great.
Yep.
Well, it was funny too, watching, we were sitting at the table or, you know, and, you know, they start making, Garrick's up there, he's starting to make announcements about this thing getting started. I looked over at Jesse, and I could see his like, he had this look on his face like, really? What? And then I was like, no, Jesse, you're not. We got other stuff we got to do today. You can't, you know. And he was just so. We did some walking around, took some photos, but I kind of, because everybody kind of huddles. It's kind of cool to watch them kind of. Everybody's friendly, you know. Everything's great until it's time for competition. Like they all kind of huddle. And so it was fun. I walked around, talked to the North people some, and I went and talked to the out of state. And we had a lackey that came down. First time I think she'd ever been. Pony Streamer's her name, and we actually had her on the show a few weeks after that talking about geotours. But she was fired up. I mean, Tom, I don't know what you told her, but
promised her something you had to have.
She was like, let's go. She was ready to.
She went 100 miles an hour, and I can tell you after that thing was over, Kendall and I took a nap. We were worn out.
That's awesome.
Well, one other cool thing, I think we told it on the show, didn't you? I know we talked about it, but I don't know if we talked about it on the actual show or not. The person that came up to us at the booth when the competition was getting ready to start, and it was their first cache ever. They were like, "What's it? We're checking out this geocaching thing." So they show up at the Texas Mega competition. It was their first one ever. They'd never found a geocache or anything.
That's a good one to start with.
Yeah. It was great. It was like a guy and his like young son. It was fun. I was like, yeah, not everything is like this. So don't get, this is not what events are normally like. Just don't want to let you down or anything, but.
Well, they were fired up. That was awesome.
Funny. Yeah, you guys mentioned Ponytail. This is a good time to show this.
Oh, there you go. Oh my gosh, Brian.
The hat that Ponytail brought us. And this is the official geocaching event hat, I guess, for the Texas Mega.
Wow.
So if you see me sporting this hat, you'll know that you're at the right place.
Brian is wearing a sort of it's almost like a mini pearl type thing with it now it's trackable. So he's got a trackable on the front of it for audio listeners.
Miss out.
Yeah, audio listeners are missing out. If you're an audio listener, go watch the YouTube later on. You can catch it and see that. So,
or come see me at Challenge.
There you go. Perfect.
And to sweeten the challenge for this year, y'all have added a new category.
Yeah, we added an individual challenge category, and we did that for a couple reasons. We just wanted to create more activities and different activities for different regions. And so the individual challenge is broken up into 4 age groups: under 18, 18 to 36, 36 to 50, and 50 over. And male and female, and we'll be awarding awards for the first 3 people in each category. Some really cool trackable belt buckle type coins. We have 32 different geocaches, and it's kind of like an orienteering event. I haven't been to Moga, so I don't know exactly how that works, but I'm very excited to see how that goes. So we've had a lot of people sign up for that. So I think the participation level in that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, y'all had to like cut off the numbers because y'all had so many people that were signing up for that. But yeah, so Jesse, it's very similar with the one you did last year, where you find the cache, you pull the stamp out, you do your stamp and the whole thing. So it's got the little what do you want to call it? It's not stamp. It's a
punch.
Punch.
Yeah, hole punch. Isn't that what y'all did last year too, Jesse?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool.
That makes it even more fun to want to go. It's killing me.
And we do have it set up so you can compete in both the regional and the individual.
Oh my gosh.
You talk about tired. You talk about tired at the end of the day. There's going to be some people that are worn out.
Yeah, but it's tired from geocaching, so that's okay. That's a good kind of tired.
It's a good thing.
Oh my gosh. That's killing me.
You're not that far away. What was it, Tom? You're saying it's a quick Southwest airline flight.
Yeah, it's like a 13-hour drive, but the flight's not very long. Just it's kind of getting last minute now, but I guess you can still book some. So
it's absolutely.
But again, I got a spy in the chat room, so I can't commit to anything right now. I get in trouble. I still want to be able to eat between now and then. So,
but wait, there's more, Jesse. There's more.
Lots more.
Lots more to talk about. So this year, obviously, you guys let me know. Have you guys ever done GeoArt design before, or is this the first year for a GeoArt?
For a challenge, it is. In the past, we've done them for our roundup events, but this is the first year that we've done it, and we actually did 2. There's actually 2 out there for a total of almost 500 caches.
Wow!
Oh my gosh!
Wow!
One of them is Texas Challenge 2018 spelled out, and the other one is a saxophone that Vince Rowe and William Davis Terabyators did in a sax, and it's called So Saxy.
Right. Yeah, so if you go on your maps and click mystery and then look west of Denton, you'll see those laid out, and great opportunity to grab a lot of caches in a short period of time. The So Saxy, I think 150 more or less, all 3 threes, and then the other ones are various DT combinations.
Yeah, it took us 3.5 hours to do So Saxy.
In addition to that, there's also a bunch of challenge caches up near Valley View, up near Dee's place, that has a lot of different challenges. And so there's a ton of caches. Jesse, I think you said there's how many? 5 fives?
Yeah, there was like 27 5.5 caches within like 20 miles of the GZ for the Mega. Yeah, obviously, I looked that up. So,
if you like to climb trees, there's plenty of opportunity to climb trees.
Oh, yeah.
I even saw some ones that were hinting at scuba, like some underwater caches in that area. So,
there might be 1 or 2. It might be a little chilly to be doing that, though.
It's okay.
Prepare for it. Yeah,
bring a kayak if you want. There's plenty around there that'll use a kayak or canoe as well.
Kayak. Nice. See, Jesse, bring your kayak down.
There you go.
Inflatable, you ready to go?
And that's Jesse, right. If you want to fly, I got a kayak you can borrow.
See?
Killing you.
I know.
Just
my CFO, my chief financial officer, needs to give me approval, and then then I can go. But
there's something too about to wrap up on the GeoArt. I would never heard of this before, so you guys tell me about this a little bit. You can. If you don't like puzzles, you can get the final chords. You can purchase them. Is that?
No, that's incorrect. we've been told by geocaching.com that
can't do that. Oh, so that's gone. No. Oh, okay. Oh well, that's all right. It was an interesting idea though.
Well,
we thought so.
Yeah, we did too. We got it from Moga. Moga usually includes it in the packages, but I got a nice little email on Friday, so we very sorry.
That idea.
And it's gone. So.
All right. Hey, now when you finish them, you've done something.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, 2012 we did something too. We had open caching there. And the next year it was in the mega contracts that you couldn't have open caching. So I guess we are the trailblazers of sorts.
You might as well try. You don't know until you try, right?
That's right. You don't know. Yeah.
But, so you mentioned that one trail, that one GeoArt was like 3 threes. You have some other interesting trails for people that like the higher terrain caches too, right?
Yeah, I'll let Brian talk about that. The Trail to Insanity. I can tell you that Randy Haler OMR did it. Did all the way It's a trail that leads up to a cache that's been there forever called Are You Insane? But those ammo cans alone are a work of art. But I know Brian has actually done the trail recently. I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, I think there's about 20 caches. It's about a 4-mile hike. A lot of it is game trails, but not real. It's not an easy walk in the park. And it's kind of a down and back. And there's probably 20 caches, very high terrain caches. We're going to sponsor people that are going to guide groups at different times. For those of you who don't know, we've had rain pretty much the entire week. I talked to Randy Haler this week. He told me that the river's out of the banks. So he's going to make another run just to make sure they're all there before we get there. But that's a great experience if you haven't if you want to get out in the wild and do some things and make a kind of arduous hike. That's a great series to do.
Very cool. That would be something definitely on my list if I was able to make it down there.
For those that are wondering, if they want to follow along at home, that trail, in case you want to look it up, starts at GC3. B is in Brian. K it's in Kilo. No, what's the K? I forget. 7 and then A. I gotta get my little cheat sheet for my radio call thing. So
you cut out there. You might want to repeat that GC number.
GC3. B is in boy. K is in karate. 7A is in apple.
I think we need a geocaching phonetic alphabet.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. We're gonna come up with one. I love it.
Start sending the emails in to help us out with that, guys.
Right. geocachetalk@gmail.com.
That's right. And we'll start using those from now on. Oh man. So a trail, if the weather hasn't destroyed that trail, that'll be a great trail for people to go and do and some guided hikes, I guess you would call it.
Yep.
Help people out.
Yep. And they'll be back there. We'll get them replaced before.
So outside of high terrains, the obvious other thing I have to ask about is lab caches.
Oh, let me tell you, Terraviators, who did the Sosaxi series, did our lab caches, and we actually asked for 2 adventures for 20, but you have to have about 1,000 people before they'll do that. So we were only able to get 10, and we have been duking it out trying to figure out what 10, because there are so many really cool places to see in Denton that the lab caches this year are extraordinary. They are at places, awesome murals, cool places. The lab caches alone are worth coming down.
Cool.
Dee's been putting posts up about the 30 days leading up to challenge, and it's making me wonder how, out of those 30 things, which ones are going to be lab caches, because there's some pretty awesome spots she's putting out.
Well, I will tell you, other than Mr. Frosty's and Beth Marie's, I am not listing a single location. That I'm doing a thing on our Facebook page where I list it every day, a place to visit when you come to Denton for challenge. And with the exception of Beth Marie's, where we're having the Thursday night event, and Mr. Frosty's, none of the lab cache places are listed on the 30 days. So.
Yeah, I think the other point that I wanted to make is Denton is a really cool little town. It's a college town. It's got a young vibe, really interesting history. A lot of our activities are going to be in the square in Denton. It's just a great, interesting place to go. And, I've lived in Dallas for almost 30 years now. And every time I go up there, I find something interesting, either history or art or music. It's a great place. And so even if you're not really there to geocache 100%, there's a lot of other things to do and see up there.
Well, that's what's cool about Omega. There's tons of geocaching. There's tons of networking and getting to visit people that you haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time. But when they're in a great place like that, you may not get to visit that place very often. So at least you get, you can go around the whole town, and there's always caching to do around, but to get to visit those historical places and, incorporate, if you're bringing the whole family down, everybody gets to do something, even if they're not all geocachers, which I don't know why you'd have family that wasn't geocaching, but if you got to keep them and they're not geocachers, you want to show them something else fun to do. So it's nice when you have stuff like that for everybody to do.
Yes, very
Yeah,
much so.
Brian, like Brian said, that was the one thing that when we sat down and we're picking locations and stuff, we both said, let's do more than just the event. Let's have so much to do that people just can't get to it all. So we tried to pack as much as we could in.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool.
So we're doing something a little different on the show. We're going to put our sponsors inside the show. So a little different. We're going to talk about our sponsors during the show. So this is a spot where we're going to talk about FTF Magazine, which worked out perfect for tonight because FTF Magazine, of course, is made in Texas, and so we're very proud of FTF Magazine. Keith Petrus, who I think hopefully will be at Mega.
Yeah.
I've talked to Keith, but I think he said he is going to. Was the last note I got. Keith does FTF Magazine. Wait a minute. I've got one right here. I got the latest right here. FTF Magazine. FTFgeocacher.com. If you're a geocacher and you don't have this, I'm not sure why you don't. You'll have to answer to me about that. So it's a great magazine. A lot of cool stuff in here. Some guy, I don't know why they keep having him on here, but he's always in here doing no, it's really good, Tom. I really appreciate that you do the puzzles. I learn a lot from you, buddy, on the puzzles.
Well, do you remember when FTF Geocacher magazine first came out? I don't even know when it first came out.
Oh gosh, Volume 8. So I'm wondering if he's done it for about 8 years. We'll ask him. He's going to be on the show, by the way, in a couple of weeks.
Well, it's funny because as a geocacher, and I'm definitely one you would consider that consumes all the media around geocaching. Right? It's my hobby. I like it. I remember when I first kind of realized there wasn't a geocaching magazine. It's one of those times you go, you're mad because you're like, why didn't I have friends? Why didn't they tell me about this last year? Why didn't anybody tell what's going on? They're trying to keep this secret from me. I mean, it's really the only, or it's the premier, I guess, at least magazine about geocaching. And that's one of the only magazines I actually have shipped in actual physical form to my house. Everything else I read digitally on the iPad and stuff, but I like having that magazine.
Yeah, this is one of the last things I don't think I'll ever go digital unless he forces us to, but hopefully he doesn't force us to do that. So very cool.
What's the first thing you do when you get that magazine?
Well, I look for our
Spartacus.
Spartacus.
I run to the bathroom, lock the door, and I'm in there looking for Spartacus.
Oh, TMI.
Well, the first part, yes.
But I think it's really cool too. I like to read the milestones page where people are calling about their milestones, and it's not just 50,000. It's people getting their 200, their 500, and they're sharing their stories. I don't know why, but I think that's one of the coolest parts of the magazine.
Very cool. Yeah. So the whole thing about travel bugs in this last one, the mega events are all listed too. So get you signed up. It's well worth it. All right, we're going to get into the actual events now. We've talked about them some, but we're going to talk about some other events.
There's more than one. There's other events.
More than one. Gosh, my gosh. There's a whole. From Thursday to Sunday, there's events awesome. Thursday night, we're going to start with Ice Cream on the Square. Tell us about Ice Cream on the Square on Thursday night.
Well, there's Denton's famous for Beth Marie's ice cream. They've been in Denton for over 40 years, and they make their own ice cream in-house on the square underneath their current store. And so what we've done is their shop's not tiny, but it's not big enough to hold a large group of cachers. So we love the square in Denton. It's got a ton of caches and lots of historical significance. So what we told everybody was go get you a scoop of some of the best ice cream you'll ever have and come across the street and just kind of congregate on the square and kind of kick off it all with a good scoop of ice cream and some good conversation with local cachers.
They got some great flavors. Jameson, red wine and blue, Sinful Oats, They got some cool names for some of these.
I'm liking the Guinness and Dr. Pepper flavored Texas Doctor.
It's really good.
Everything about that sounds good.
Everything. All of it. They all sound great. So, that's awesome. That's Thursday night.
Jack and Coke.
Get this thing kicked off. Absolutely.
And they have traditional flavors too. So if you if you don't want to go out on a limb, there's other traditional flavors.
My husband's a vanilla guy. He gets vanilla every time we go. So
wow.
When people do, my daughter's the same way. She loves the vanilla every time. We'll go to hey, let's go to Baskin Robbins. I'm like, why? You're going for vanilla. You only need, forget the rest 30 flavors. You're just going for the, I'm just going to go for the vanilla. But that's a good, the ice cream social geocaching event. That's always a good one. That's a classic geocaching event. That's a good one to start off with.
Very family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, absolutely. That's, we talked, something I tweeted this week about was the fact that you can, even though it's a mega, you can get some ideas of what to do locally instead of the usual meet and greet. You can create something like this and do a Jesse, you got one every month. Of course, yours is a little different every week. But yours is a little different, right? You go to the same place for that. Yeah,
ours is just a standard. We host a standard. As a matter of fact, it's 6:30 in the morning every Monday morning coffee event, and we have our normal 5 or 6 people that show up every week. But we constantly, because it's a staple and it's always there and it's been there for over a year. There's always somebody passing through town. And we'll get people like, I was passing through town and my family's back at the hotel and I want to sneak out and get to this event real quick before they woke up so I can get an event in this state or whatever. But we get people passing through.
Yeah, Tick Magnet comes
always
through
there every Monday morning.
Yeah. When Tick Magnet came through there?
He sure did, yeah.
So that's cool.
So Jesse, my son's at CU Boulder, so you may see me there one Monday morning.
Oh, very cool, yeah. Let me know and I'll take a little time off and we'll go playing around and go caching in the area.
Sounds good, man.
Perfect. See, that's how you get to meet people too, is at these events. So,
yeah.
All right. Friday, we got a bunch going on Friday. So the note was, of course, don't forget about the GeoArt, the lab caches will be available, the trail to Insanity. Hopefully there won't be any issues with our flooding that we've had. Hopefully that's all gone away. Will be available all day. And then in the morning, we start off with something that Jesse and I would be at if I wasn't either working or Jesse was in town, which is coffee time. Grab your coffee, smoothie, tea, or double chocolate, triple decaf, skim almond milk, spiced chai latte.
You had me until you said decaf.
Me too.
How do you have a triple decaf? What does that mean? 3 times 0 caffeine?
Right.
I don't even know what all that means.
It says, or some such. And a pastry.
Well,
there you go.
I can tell you that this one was kind of a sad one for us. About a month ago, there was a fire on the square.
Oh,
the original location is a place called Jupiter House. It's been around forever. It's a very kind of cool vibe a coffee shop. And unfortunately, when the fire happened right next door, it caused some smoke and water damage to Jupiter House. So we had to move it across the square to West Oak Coffee, which is equally a very cool place. However, it's only been there about a year and a half, and Jupiter House has been there about 30. So it was a little disappointing for us, but the folks over at West Oak are excited to have us, and they're the only coffee house I've ever been to that also sells beer. So
how about that?
Oh,
5 o'clock somewhere.
There you go.
Might as well start with beer at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, they've got like the coffee area, and then they have all these draft beers. It's like, all right, there you go.
Sure, why not?
Perfect.
Hey.
And that's at 8 o'clock on Friday. And then that evening, after a full day of caching on Friday, like I said, finding all the other things, we're gonna do a jazzing up challenge. We're jazzing up challenge. Enjoy dinner in the jazz stylings of a local swing band. So tell us a little bit about the Friday night event.
Well, we're going to be serving $6 for a barbecue sandwich, chips, and a drink. All of our vendors will be there for you to talk to. We've got, Geocache Talk will be there. Space Stuff will be there. Red Hat will be there. We've got a local church group that'll be selling baked goods to help raise money for their camp. And about 7:30ish, Foo McBubba will take the stage. They are a 16-piece jazz band that one of our local cachers, Terraviators, is in. And they're going to entertain us for about an hour. And they're also going to be selling a geocoin that you'll only be able to get at that event that's in the shape of a saxophone.
Oh, cool.
Only at that event. So those, they'll in turn be on eBay for like $100 a piece that night.
Yeah. It's a very cool, it's in the shape of a saxophone. It says Foo McBubba on the back. It's trackable. And I think they're selling it for like $6. And what they're doing with that money is giving it to the Music Foundation in Denton, which pays for low-income students to take music classes. So it's a very cool thing they're doing.
Kind of hard to beat that.
That is awesome.
So we're excited about it. It'll be a really fun night. The other thing I'm kind of looking forward to is before the jazz band takes stage, we have our Hall of Fame induction every year. And this year is going to be a little special. Cool. So we're looking forward to some of the inductees being there and being able to remember a few inductees that are no longer with us. So,
that's awesome.
It'll be good.
Very cool.
Yeah. Friend of mine, Katie Solo, used to be Katie in Prettier Half. He lost his wife.
He played in 2012 with me.
Yeah, that's very cool. But Katie Solo, see him once in a while. We have events. He'll come by, and great guy, Jesse. I actually grabbed Kevin, I dragged him over. He's like, "What are you doing, Gary?" I was like, "I need you to meet Jesse." So Jesse, that's who I was referring to.
The coffee event, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we met him.
Very cool. Okay, so that's, and then it's a very early next morning. We're going to start the event, the actual mega, that next morning. So it says 7 a.m. Doors open at
7 a.m.
Okay, just want to make sure so everybody knows.
Registration and doors open at 7. And all of the people that are going to be competing in the regional challenge must be in the room by 8 o'clock.
And they're ready to go. It's awesome. Like last year, you could tell things changed from the night before to that day. The whole atmosphere started to kind of change a little bit. People weren't, they're all chummy, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't have time to talk to you right now. I got to go to this thing over here. So it's like, great fun. So the regional or the challenge, it says here, accumulate the most points during a 4-hour time crunch. Is that right?
You got 4 hours. It runs from 8:30 to 12:30, and you must turn your scorecards in by 12:30. If you are late, you get a big fat 0.
Wow, you don't want to do the whole day and not do that.
And is the individual one start after that one ends?
That's correct.
Okay, so like the second half of the day.
That's the afternoon event. So we've got 180. No, it's just 2 hours. We've got 180 people signed up for the regional competition. Everywhere from 70 people in the north to 6 in the west. The out-of-state teams looking like 10. There may be a independent Oklahoma team and then another team. So I think the competition is going to be pretty fierce this year.
Very cool.
There are a bunch of people signed up for the individual?
More than 100. We had to cut it off because we had too many people.
Oh my gosh.
I keep getting emails going, is there any way, please let me in. Please let me in. So it's
people want to be that first champion.
That's exactly
right. And I will say, hats off to Vince Rowe. He has busted his butt trying to get that individual one together and all of the calculations. He's got that puppy down. So we're excited to see that and how it turns out. It's going to be good.
So awesome.
Very cool. Is that 2 hours the most points you can get? And if you're late, you get 0? Same
Pretty
concept?
much. Don't get 0, but you get negative points if you're late. So you got to be very good on your timing.
That'll be interesting to see the first crown champion of the individual Texas competition.
It will be, and you've run Moga, so it's very similar as far as time clock start. We worked. Vince worked closely with Ryan, who did the last Moga, and he kind of let us in on a few of the ins and outs to help make it run a little smoother for us. So,
yeah, that's Moga was a lot of fun, and I got to see the Texas Challenge, but I haven't got to compete in it yet. Yes. So I love the challenge megas; those are awesome.
Well, come on down.
See, if you come down, Jesse, and join the out of state with Tom and his little crew, you could win, and like you could go. See, I had to come down to take the belt away from North Texas. So.
Oh, and I would be such a quiet winner too if I came out of state and we won. Trust me.
I think there'd be a lot of people cheering you on.
Yeah, it will be a ton.
Every cache I published for the rest of the year would be I won the Texas Challenge. That's what it'd be for the rest of the year.
Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Number 1, yeah. Number 1, number 2. I still won. Did I mention I won? No, that'd be cool. That'd be a really cool thing to see. But there's other events that same day, right?
There's the Keep On food truck in that night.
Well, and you're also missing, there's also a 5 o'clock event.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Texas County Challengers reunion event. I think we're close to 160 people have finished it. It's jumping. Every year it jumps. Those of us that are back there in we're 54, and we're proudly 54. Brian, what number are you?
Wow.
Haven't finished it yet.
Oh, that's right. You're close though, right?
Yeah, I still have about 60 to go.
Okay, and then Tom, what number are you and Cheryl?
Cheryl's 66 and I'm 67.
So yeah, so I mean it's a tight knit club that have finished that challenge, and I know Brian has been working. One of his Christmas presents was to get to go with his son down and finish some counties. So it's kind of something that we all strive for. But our reunion is that, and anybody can attend it. So that's kind of cool to be in a room with a bunch of people that did something crazy like that.
Yeah, because it's not just a Sunday afternoon drive.
No.
254 counties, is that right?
That's right.
And you guys have 18 people this year? That's awesome.
I got to see that when we were down there, and oddly enough, obviously I haven't done all those counties, but that was one of my favorite parts of the whole weekend, was getting to see that. You made a big deal about the people that had done it, and they got to go up on stage. And I think last year, I don't know if it's the same every year, but they got to sign the big cutout board, or there was the big Texas shaped board or whatever.
Yeah, and you signed it in the county that you found your last county cache in. So that's where you sign the log. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. I don't know why we don't have that in other states. I mean, other states, I guess, are not as hard as Texas, obviously, with 254 counties, but just a really cool way to honor people that have gone to that crazy length in geocaching.
It is, and I give a big shout out to Pathfinder 33. He started that event several years ago and has continued it. And even when he couldn't come down because he moved to Wyoming and now he's in Colorado, he's made sure that board has made it to challenge. Thanks to Travis Gilbert, S-Night 579. It makes it there for every challenge, and someone is hosting that event because it really is a tight-knit group of people that are proud of a challenge. Because you got to understand that when you're in Texarkana, you are closer to Chicago than you are the other side of Texas. So it's a big old state.
Yes, it is. And like Tom said, you're not doing it on a weekend.
No, and yeah, I just checked. I'm only 236 away from getting it, so I'm right there on it.
Well, if you drive down, you can go through the Panhandle, and you can pick up probably another 20 or 30.
Yeah, you're right. It'll only be like
talk to the CFO
away at that point. So,
Jesse, you would not be the person the farthest away from Texas to have done it.
Oh, really? Who's done it? Who's the furthest person away?
That I know of is a reviewer in Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, that's kind of insane.
Well, that's kind of insane. But it's great.
You got to give them props for that. That's wild.
Yeah. No, I don't know why it's not in my notes. I forgot completely about putting that in the notes. I'm very sorry about that. But yes, definitely come to that event because it is, like Jesse said, it was cool watching it last year, and just I mean, it is a big accomplishment to have done, because it's not like you can just go through. It's not like the ET Highway. I mean, there's some counties that you got to do some planning, and if you don't, Tom, you can talk about that. If you don't plan properly, you could end up. Where
are you going to sleep tonight?
Right. Some of the counties don't have a whole lot of caches in them, so you got to sort of plan accordingly. If you don't find the first cache, you may have to do a little hiking to get to the next cache. I mean, some of the counties are big too. So
there's one county that we know everybody in that signs that log is found the only 2 that are in that county.
Loving.
There's 3 now, but everybody at least gets the other 2.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think I'm about 200 hours, 3 speeding tickets, and probably about 8,000 miles on the car to get that one.
Wow.
But I think that's one of those things that I know not everybody gets to do it, obviously, but like, ranks up there with like visiting headquarters and doing the ET Power Trail. If you get all 254 counties in Texas, like that's one of the big major milestones that you can check off. Like I guess, what'd you say, 160 people or so? That's not that many.
You've seen some stuff, man.
Yeah. You didn't like accidentally do that.
No.
You worked on that for a long time. Like you can almost accidentally do Jasmer, right? You can do like 75% of it just by caching and finding old caches, but you're not going to accidentally find 254 counties.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, just about everybody's done the Texas County Challenge. If you ask them, they didn't start off with any plans of doing it at all, but they one day look and say, "Oh, I'm only 100 away or 50 away," and it's like, I got to do it now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I decided to do this. Especially if you're certain parts of I mean, I love my state. I was born and raised here, but there's some driving in the West Texas area. You have to enjoy the scenery. Susan and I have been out that way, been out to Big Bend, and the parts of the state, man, you can roll through some counties out there. No, you go a long way to get to the next county. So
let's be honest, some parts of it you're just like, let's get there. I'm done with my butt in the seat of the car.
Right.
But
exactly right.
So unfortunately, I am married to a county cacher. So we're at. I asked him today, 9:16, I think is what he told me, and I'm just ready to kill him. I'm just done because I enjoy it more than you know. But there are days when it's like I don't want 2 more counties. I want a bed. But,
right. Oh, but you're team D and D, so you gotta have both of you.
And he puts up with me, so I put up with him. So
that's perfect.
All right. So before we run out of time, there's still several more events we got to mention.
All right. The food trucks are going to be Saturday night. Austin Street Food Truck Park. Is that right, Brian?
Yep. So after you spend all day running around caching in the woods and all over Denton, you got to refuel. So come on by. We have a food truck corral where there's going to be a bunch of food trucks. Everyone will be able to refuel, get some great food, and kind of a fun, relaxing atmosphere. And Jesse, after the competition's done, everyone lets their guard down a little bit.
There you go. The food truck, though, those are great. I love food trucks.
Well, and it's also located at a brewery, too, so you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Well, there you go. You just made it better. Food trucks in a brewery. All nasty coming in from the competition, just hanging out. That's great.
They don't have to sit by you. Just stand next to you at the food truck.
Hopefully it's outdoors, and then we're good.
Right.
It is. You're all good.
The Austin Street Food Truck Park. A lot of cool different ones. And then where are we going next?
Midnight event.
Night at the Garden of Good Donuts.
Oh wow! Midnight in the Garden of the day doesn't end. We just keep on. That day just keeps going. Saturday is like it's a mega day because it really is. It's another event. So you guys talk to us a little bit about the Garden of Good Donuts.
This is the one I'm looking forward to.
There is a steakhouse owned by Chef Tim Love called Queenie's in Denton, and I can't afford a steak, but on Friday and Saturday nights out the back door, they open up what they call back dough, and they sell donuts. Back dough. They sell four different flavors. 3 of them are sweet, and 1 of them is savory. And they open it up, and it's $4 a donut, and it is guaranteed the best donut you've ever had.
Oh,
so they do a sopapilla. They did one time. They did a meatloaf, and it was really good. My favorite is the chocolate mousse one. It's like a puff dough, handmade dough that's like fried up, and then they shove it with their homemade chocolate mousse, and then they coat it in cinnamon sugar, and it's to die for. So, and it's just fun. You just literally walk up to the back door of this steakhouse, and you give them your $4 cash, and they hand you a donut. And you got college kids out there. One time we went out there with some friends, and in front of us was college kids, and behind us was a 7-year-old couple whose granddaughter had told them about it, and they're sitting there going, "We want our donut." So it's very cool.
All kinds too. I mean, cookies and cream, key lime pie. Then there's some savory ones. Seriously, a chips and queso donut?
Yes.
What?
Yes, and it's good.
Oh wow, this is incredible.
It's worth going down. Forget the cash, and I'm just gonna go down there for the food.
Just for the food.
We're trying to appease everyone. Give everyone something.
Best of both worlds.
That's right.
And then Sunday, don't forget, it doesn't end. We got another day of cool stuff. So Sunday again, you can still do the geo art, still the lab caches. Trail to Insanity are still all available, but there's a breakfast of champions early morning, before the Cito. So, breakfast of champions is what were we gonna say, Jesse?
And the award ceremony too, right?
That comes at this right now. What's the logistics here? Breakfast and then the Cito and then the awards. Is that?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the breakfast. How that works? The breakfast is hosted by the 2019 crew, and Tom will be there. That's when they're going to announce where challenge will be next year. And then afterwards, you'll go to the Cito location, and we'll have the award ceremony and award the winners of both the individual and the regional challenge. And then we'll do some cleanup in Quakertown Park.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And so if people don't realize, every year the mega moves. So it's not in the same location every year. It moves from region to region. Last year was East. Jesse, we went to in Tyler. This year, of course, in Denton. And then we don't know. We're not privy to the information about next year, but the possibilities are.
It's southeast of Denver.
Is that where it's going to be? Perfect. See, there you go, Jesse.
So for sure, not in Denver. Then is that what we're saying?
It's just a little southeast of there.
Okay. Do we get any hints?
Yeah, southeast of Denver.
West of Louisiana.
It's in
West of Louisiana.
Yeah,
it won't be in North because North had it this year.
It's South Texas' turn, so it is in South Texas. We can tell you that much.
Okay,
see, there's an exclusive hint right there.
So the regions are real quickly north, east, west, central.
Yes.
Yes.
South and southeast.
South and southeast. Okay, so so as they moves around the state. Okay, gotcha. Very cool. Okay, well there you go. That's gonna be awesome to find out where it'll be next year. And then there's another, and then still another.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. And then there's this is interesting, and we almost forgot about it. Wasn't in my notes, and Dia and you guys, thanks for reminding us to put this in the notes. But the first ever Waymarkers Gathering. So tell us about what we know what waymarks are, but what was the idea behind this, or what kind of was the story behind it?
Well, I have to give all props to this Gary, our South rep, 8 Nets Mother Goose. He was the one that suggested that we do this. It had never been done, and said that a lot of waymarkers are also geocachers, and that this would be a really cool thing to do. And so we try to figure out where we could fit it in. The geocaching.com president, Brian Roth, is a huge waymarker. So, Brian, if you're watching, please come to the gathering.
There you go.
We'll buy you a slice at J&J's Pizza. But he picked a great iconic pizza restaurant on the square. And so all the waymarkers are going to get together, and there is hundreds of waymarks in Denton. So they can have fun. Like Brian said, we tried to make sure we covered everybody that would want to come out. So including those waymarkers.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's interesting. I wonder what percentage of geocachers are doing waymarks?
No idea.
Oh, that's a good question. I only check the chat room too. I haven't really paid. There've been we could.
I just asked in the chat room. There actually is a challenge not too far from about 20 miles from here about doing waymarks. It's an older challenge because you can't do it with the new rules, but you got to find a certain number of waymarks for the challenge. It's pretty interesting. You don't see those everywhere.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, chat room was busy tonight. I didn't even.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're kind of keeping an eye on that for us. Thank you, chat room, for being there. EGK PBR say you just did 6 waymarks today. I did one notable one and during Moga, just because I was trying to do as many cache types as I possibly could, and that was just I threw that one in just to kind of add as a different that and a benchmark. I just sort of threw those in for additional effect, but very cool.
Hey, Gary, on that point, there will be a group that's doing as many cache types of the day as available. So if people are interested in that, I know that's one of the things I've always done at Texas Challenge. Then there'll be various types of caches available to help facilitate that as well.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
this is a great.
If you get on the Texas Geocaching Association Facebook page, there's a little blurb about that. And Texas Strawberry Creek, it's TX, and Strawberry Creek has actually got a van, and she's, I think, got about 5 spaces left in that van that she'll take people after the regional event. And she's already got the whole thing mapped out. I think she said it's about 2 hours, and you can get, I think it's 9 or 10 cache types that she's going to take you to.
Yeah.
Only thing I think they're missing is the closest webcam is about 2 hours north in Oklahoma. So, but yeah, if you're interested, you can get on there and she can help you out.
I did a little research, and it appears that there is a challenge in Denton that has been out since 2014 for finding waymarks, and it's a 4.5, 1.5.
Who owns it?
So that's a perfect place to have that waymark event.
Who owns it?
All right, I'm gonna have to spell this because this is not a WB96 Bob White.
Bob White, yeah. Pete.
Okay.
Pete. Yeah, WB Bob White. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been there for a while. So that's a perfect place to have a good waymarking event.
We're excited.
How many waymarks do you need to find before you go sign that, or till you claim a find, I should say. You can sign any of them, but
50 different waymark categories, 50 different calendar days, and 90 different waymarks.
Oh wow, that's cool.
There's a lot to it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool that they got that.
That's a funky DT too.
Yeah, yes. 4.5, 1.5 is a good one.
Jesse, was it last year you finished the Fizzy, and it was a 4.5 something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the opposite. I had to find a 1 4.5, and there was none in my state. So I had to go to Oklahoma to finish it.
Right. Those are oddball. They're kind of cool, but wow, this is awesome. I'll go around the room and kind of give everybody a chance to kind of give final thoughts. We'll start with Tom, who Do you remember how many Texas challenges you've been to, Tom? And then give us sort of your final thoughts.
My first one was in 2008, and that was back when there were only 3 teams playing, and
Wow.
it was small enough we could do it in state parks. And, every year this thing's got bigger and bigger. I think 2013 was our first year to do it in a city, and I've had fun doing it every year. Don't care if I win or not. I want to win, but my first year I got hooked on one thing. Every time I ran across this one North Texas player, we'd swap pirate jokes. So Kendall asked me to tell a pirate joke. So
absolutely,
I'll just ask this.
A pirate joke.
So how's a pirate going to get to a Texas challenge?
We don't know.
In his RV.
Lord.
Wow. We just got kicked off of YouTube.
And the show just ended. I don't know what happened.
It's over.
I think
Unplugged.
we're off the air. No, that's good. I like those. Very good. Tom, you've been you're a good ambassador. Definitely, all of y'all are. But it's always good to hear the stories and hear about the craziness that's occurred over the years, and it's fun to hear so much wonderful things. So we appreciate that, Tom. All right, I'm gonna go to Brian next. Brian, give us your.
So this year I will have completed the cycle. My first geocache was mega event in Texas was 7 years ago, I guess, when we had it in Denton.
Okay.
And I'll be repeating for the first time ever. I think, like I said earlier, when I first went, I wasn't really sure what it was all about and whether I even wanted to do it. I've been caching for about 2 years, but I became hooked, and it just was an addiction for me. It's been a great experience. And what we've tried to do this year is provide as many different opportunities for everyone to make it as inclusive and fun as possible. So I'm looking forward to sponsoring this and hope everyone has a great time.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Like you said, just a wonderful, the time that you guys put into it and the effort is I know it's tremendous, but it's very much appreciated. So thanks, Brian. Dee, what are some of your thoughts?
Well, my first challenge was in also OA, and I was hooked from the beginning because I was not a nature girl, and I was out running in the trees and hopping creeks, and so for me, it's been kind of full circle. Denton this year is followed up to 2012 when I was with Kevin and we planned the Ray Roberts one. So I enjoy being involved in all of that. I enjoy watching people when they get ready to compete and just the electricity in the room. So I hope everybody comes out and I'm overly appreciative of everybody that has stepped up to the plate and helped us out. I do want to say a heavy thank you to Jesse at AFK. I believe you guys are going to have him next week. He has been amazing in helping us out. We had some coin issues and he stepped up to the plate and saved the day for us. So it's just the people I meet along the way I always say, and I know it's a reviewer saying, but the best thing that you collect in geocaching is friends. So it's been an honor to do it, and I appreciate you having us on, and I hope to see everybody in Denton. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, very good. Yes. Jesse?
So I've only gotten to go once. We went and we had a lot of fun down there last year, and I wish I was going this year, but you can't go to everything all the time, of course. But if you haven't been to a Texas Mega and you've never been to a competition before, this is a whole different ball game. And, even if you're not into the competition, which I don't understand that part, but if you're not into the competition, we just talked about food trucks and beer and ice cream and donuts. And I mean, it's Texas. There's food everywhere. So there's tons, and just the history and everything else going on down there. There's tons of stuff to do. This sounds like one of the better megas out there. So I can't, definitely a good one to put on your list. Even if you can't make it this year, it keeps going. It's great. There's a lot of different things to go. This is one of my favorites by far.
Excellent. Yeah. didn't do a lot of megas. You know, I've been caching since 06, and I think I missed out a lot on that whole mega scene. And I think that for people who have never been to an event, I know they're maybe a little intimidated, but really small events or even large events, I think maybe even large events, maybe something to sort of, if you've never been to an event, megas are probably a good one to start with. You can meet so many different people. Everybody's so friendly. I think, like Dee said, there's something about geocachers who just really look out for one another. You get to meet some people. Just to kind of wrap up, Jesse and I were doing the lab caches last year, and having a great time. He and I, something, he and I will always remember it. But Jesse, now knowing what I'm talking about, we're having a little struggle. We had a struggle with a couple, but we were watching these ladies who were from California, and they were also kind of struggling a little bit with one of them. And so we started talking to them and had a great conversation with them, and actually saw them later on and said, hey, I'll see y'all again. But, Jesse, that's probably a good example of what can happen when you go to a geocaching mega.
We had a blast, and it was totally random. And that was just one little segment of the whole weekend. So people are just really friendly, and it's a different atmosphere, because normally you're hiding when you're caching, right? You're going through the city, you're hiding and not trying to show you what you're doing. Right. And then when you're in an area of a mega, it's like everybody, like you outnumber the muggles. So it's great.
Right. Exactly. So good times. Definitely go. Geocache Talk will be there. Hopefully all of Geocache Talk will be there. We don't know that yet. We're working on that, but I'm gonna have to talk to Christy, because I know we can maybe get this to work. But anyway, very good. Again, thank you guys so much. So as Dee said, coming up on the show next week, Jesse Tuttle will be on the show talking about what I was calling Gigastock, Geo Woodstock 16, and we're going to talk about that next week. Week after that, again, we're talking about things that are a challenge, or it's about the numbers. Sodak Zach will be back from Malaysia, and we're going to talk about his new series that he's doing called It Is About the Numbers. So it's kind of a different take on things. And then in 3 weeks, we're going to have an interesting talk about containers. Doesn't sound that exciting, but actually it will be. We're going Jesse and I are going to get into a big old knockdown drag out about what we like and don't like about containers. And so some of us like the really odd containers. Some of us don't like the odd containers. I'm showing one of them right now. But we'll talk about that in a few weeks. So anyway, so folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. @GeocacheTalk is the webpage, or the Twitter page, did I get it right, for the show. My personal one's @Gary Slinkard, one word. Jesse's @Memphis_Mafia. And our Facebook page is facebook.com/Geocache Talk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and of course now it can be found on Spotify. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button below so you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. Till next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Come to the 16th Annual Texas Challenge and Festival, and then go geocaching while you're there. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.